Greetings all, it's Blue Knight. Welcome back to the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Previously, we head back to Sealed Temple to open the Gate of Time, which we did. But that was not before we imprisoned the imprisoned a second time. Today, we head back to the past via the Gate of Time to go meet Zelda. But first, Impa's got something to say to us.
Hey!
At last, I've been expecting you, Link. You are doubtless overwhelmed, so I will explain things as simply as I can. This is the Temple of Hylia, though it will be come to known as the Sealed Temple sometime in the future. You stand in the past, ages before your own time. Here the goddess Hylia has only just sealed away demise. And little time has passed since the goddess sent the outcropping of rock into the sky that would one day become Skyloft.
Mm.
It is true to its name. You have passed through the Gate of Time to an era in the distant past. You will have many questions, but for now, you must proceed back through the great doors behind you. It is there that the person you risked life and blood to defend waits for you. Anything else to say? Stand in the past, stage for your time, Hylia, demise, questions, yada yada yada. It's the same thing as before. Just without the cinematic cinematography and fancy angles and stuff. You get what I mean. But without delaying the inevitable any further, let's go meet Zelda. You've come so far, Link. I'm glad you made it. I imagine Impa filled you in on everything. We've traveled very far from home to the distant past. In this era, the wounds inflicted on the land during the battle between the goddess and the demon king known as Demise have not yet healed. All the fairy tales about that war we heard growing up in Skyloft, incredible as they may seem, they appear to be all too real. I think it's time you learn the whole story. Let me try to explain. The old gods created a supreme power that gave anyone who possessed it the ability to shape reality and fulfill any desire. They called it the Triforce. In his thirst to make the world his own, Demise readied a massive army of monsters for war. He sought to take the Triforce for himself by force. The goddess feared for her people. She used her power to send them both and the Triforce into the sky on a slice of earth she cut away from the land. This floating rock became the new home of our people. In time, it came to be known as Skyloft. After a long and fierce battle, the goddess Hylia succeeded in sealing away Demise. However, soon after the Demon King was imprisoned, it became clear that the seal would not hold long against his fearsome power. Hylia has suffered grave injuries in her battle with the Demon King. She knew that if he broke free again, there would be no stopping him. And if the Demon King were to free himself, it would mean the end of the world for all beings on this land. In order to put an end to the Demon King, Hylia devised two separate plans and set them both into motion. First, she created Phi. She made the spirit that resides in your sword to serve a single purpose, to assist her chosen hero on his mission. Her second plan was to abandon her divine form and transfer her soul to the body of a mortal. She made this sacrifice, as you have likely guessed, so that the supreme power created by the old gods could one day be used. For while the supreme power of the Triforce was created by gods, all of its power could never be wielded by one. Knowing this power was her last and only hope, the goddess gave up her divine powers and her immortal form. You've probably figured it out by now, haven't you, Link? You are the chosen hero. And I, Zelda, I am the goddess reborn as a mortal. The day of the ceremony, Gerhim's tornado tossed me out of the sky and down to the world below. I was nearly captured by the demonic forces, but I was rescued at the last moment by the old woman who lived in the sealed grounds. I had no memory at all of my existence as Hylia, but she explained it to me. She helped me to remember who I was, and what I had to do. I set out to pray at the goddess statues located in each temple across the land. Each statue stirred up memories within me. After I visited them all, Impa, an agent of the goddess, led me here, to the past. All of this is part of the same great effort to prevent the revival of Demise. Stripped of his true physical form by the seal that binds him, he takes the shape of an abomination. But even in his hideous state, he's more than capable of devouring this land if we allow him to do what he desires. We must stop him from freeing himself from the seal that imprisons him, at any cost. That is why I intend to remain here in this time and place, to sustain the seal as best as I can. As long as I continue this vigil, we may be able to prevent the Demon King from fully reviving himself in our own time. I must maintain the seal that that I created so long ago, to keep it strong for as long as I am able. With the memories of my former life returning to me, I can see now that this is my purpose. Link, the goddess created fire and the great blade she's apart for very specific reasons. For the task of standing against Demise in this monstrous form he now assumes rests solely on your shoulders. Back in our own time, you've already driven him back into his prison twice now. I can't thank you enough for that, Link. During your long journey, you've grown so much. Sorry I had to break the tension there, but that face. Oh man, I've seen that face a million times, it never gets old. You've learned wisdom from solving devious puzzles and traps. You gain power by holding the tempering both yourself and your sword. And by overcoming the trials set before you by the goddess, you found true courage. Now that those qualities reside in you, you are worthy of wielding the power the old gods left behind for our kind. You can claim the Triforce. Valiant hero, you have endured many hardships and journeyed far in your quest to reach this place. Along your travels you have found wisdom, power, and courage, and for this I shall bless your sword with the goddess's power. May it give you and your sword the strength to drive back the abomination that threatens this land. The mark you see upon the back of your hand is proof that you are the hero of legend, and that within you dwells sacred power. It is the mark of the Triforce. Stand now, Link. Draw your sword. The goddess has blessed your blade, and the Master Sword has at last achieved its ultimate form. I have been waiting for this for so long. The sword is now imbued with a mythical power that drive back demons, and only Link may wield it. Link, before I say another word, I feel like I owe you an apology. You see, the mark of the Triforce on your hand is a symbol of the greatest power in this world. If you can obtain the actual Triforce, we will have the power to vanquish the minds once and for all. The problem is, among the countless souls in this world, only a select few, those with an unbreakable spirit, can wield its might. It's impossible to know the true reason why the old gods created the Triforce, but I have a theory of my own. The gods created the Triforce, yet they specifically designed it so that their own kind can never use its power. Somehow, I think this may have been their way of giving hope to all the mortal beings of this land. Which brings us back to you. To face demise and give the land hope, the goddess Hylia needed someone with an unbreakable spirit. That someone is you, Link. But spirit alone wasn't enough. You had to overcome many trials and awaken the hero within you so that you could wield that supreme power. And so Hylia, and so I knew that if it meant saving Zelda, you would throw yourself headfirst into any danger without even a moment's doubt. I used you. I can't begin to tell you how sorry I am for pulling you into all this, Link. But you have to understand that this is a war, and the fate of the land hangs in the balance. I need your strength to tip the scales in our favor. All that may be well-intentioned and true, but it doesn't mean it's right, and it doesn't excuse my actions. But I'm prepared to pay the price for what I've done. To ensure that the seal holds, I'll remain here in this time, deep in sleep for thousands of years. Link, I can't say it enough. I'm so sorry for the way I had to involve you with this. But until my memory of things before a lifetime returned to me, I had no idea we were fated to carry such a heavy destiny. Before all this, I was happy just spending my days hanging around with you in Skyloft. I wanted that feeling to last forever. While it's true that I am highly reborn, I'm still my father's daughter and your friend. I'm still your Zelda. When demise is finally gone, there will be no more need for the seal that binds him, and then I'll be able to wake up. So I'm going to ask you a favor, sleepyhead. Ever since we were kids, I'd always be the one to wake you up when you slept in. But this time, when all this is over, will you come to wake me up? Oh boy. Last time I said I had a lot to say about this cutscene, and I do. That, in my opinion, is one of the best cutscenes of the game, and as well as one of my favorites. Online, I hear a lot of people say that this incarnation of Zelda is so well loved because she's not a princess or a goddess of any kind, as far as we knew up to this point, but she was just Link's friend ever since they were kids, so that gave us that extra incentive to save her. And I think this cutscene really demonstrates the dedication and the bond that these two would go to not only to save the world, but in Link's case, to go help his friend. But in what comes after is what makes this scene bittersweet for me. This is what I refer to as Act 3 of Skyward Sword, and this contains the most panic in the game. As much as I love Skyward Sword, even I can't fault what we're gonna have to do up ahead, because it just feels like we're retreading a lot of old ground at this point. When I first played this game and I reached this portion, it felt like I was on a treadmill. I knew I was making a lot of progress, but in the grand scheme of things, I felt like I was going nowhere with it. You'll see what I mean once we get to opening up more of this portion. Input, do you have anything to say about this huge exposition dump and turn of events that we just encountered? I see you've said goodbye. Now that you must keep the promise you made to her, you must find the Triforce. Return to your timeline. There is work to be done. Do not fear for Zelda. I will watch over her here. Go now and fulfill your destiny. And that we shall do. Let's open the game tab and go back to present day. But, as unfortunate as it may seem, I'm gonna stop here for today. We just learned a lot about what's really going on in this war now, and I think that's gonna need some time to digest. So you've returned. Then you know everything. On the other side of that gate, Zelda waits, suspended in a sleep without end. But do not despair, for she is still alive and well. True to legend, the Triforce is the one thing that will, with the power to vanquish demise. It is thought to have been hidden within Skyloft by the goddess. Sadly, that is all we know of where it rests. All the clues to its whereabouts have been lost through the ages. Link, you have likely come to the same conclusion, but I will spell it out just the same. The key to finding the Triforce must be in Skyloft. Go now, Link. Find the Triforce. Whoa there, hold up. Link, there's something I gotta tell you. So Zelda, how's she holding up? Was she okay when you saw her? That's terrible. It's gotta be so hard for the poor girl. But you're going to do something about this mess, right? Link, I've made up my mind. I'm not going back. I'm staying right here with Granny. Aw, don't look so bummed out. Do I look sad? Nah, I'm doing what I want to do. I don't know how to explain it. I got this feeling in my belly that there's work to do here. Someone's gotta watch that big ugly monster, and someone's gotta make sure Granny's doing alright. It ain't as action-packed as what you're doing, but maybe this is my destiny. Know what I mean? Besides, it's not so bad here. Living up in the sky was okay, I guess, but don't you just love the way it smells down here? What? That's not what to say. Check it out. Zelda and Granny have brought life to the land back here. Brought life to the land? Yeah, that's what I read. I bet even the weaklest sapling could grow into one beast of a tree in soil like this. It brightened this place up a little too. I mean, sure, it'd take a few years for it to grow, but as far as I'm concerned, I've got nothing but time. It's weird to say out loud, but that's just how I feel right now. So, yeah, when you get back to Skyloft, do me a favor and let people know I'm doing okay down here. Colin and Stretch may get a little emotional since they look up to me, but you tell them I'm happy, okay? Thanks, Link. Don't let me down. I'm counting on you to help Zelda, Link. Oh, by the way, I've been thinking about how nice it'd be to have a tree here, but I don't have a ceiling or anything. You see one I could plant? So not only do we get a lot of character revelation about Zelda's true identity, but Groose has really matured enough this adventure. Probably another aspect why people just love Groose so much, because he just went from being a stereotypical bully character to maturing into his very own identity. Let's see if I can grab this little creature. Got it. Okay, we already got this guy. I just wanted to make sure. Because there's one insect we haven't got yet. So with all that exposition that we just got laid upon us, like I said before, I'm gonna stop here for today because that's a lot to take in and I think we need some time to digest that. Find Triforce with Skyloft, go for the find the Triforce. That I will do. So with that being said, next time on The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, we'll be heading back to Skyloft to gather some clues about where the Triforce is. Until we meet again, everyone, farewell for now.